My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Last of Us. I'm finally reviewing it. It is. I love Last of Us. I love Last of Us 1 and 2 so much, and I should be really excited to talk about them finally. And I am, but at the same time, I'm kind of nervous just because, I love these games so much, and I just want to make sure I give them the credit that they deserve. I make sure that I sell you just on the quality of these games. But let's begin with the first game. This will be a spoiler-free review, and let's get into it. I love this game. I think it's one of the greatest stories ever told, only beaten by the second game. I think this game is a complete masterpiece in every single way. And, well, let's talk about the characters. Joel and Ellie. These are my two favorite characters ever. Ellie is voiced so perfectly by Ashley Johnson, and from the very first second we see her, I'm just like, oh, I like the attitude of this character. She really stands her ground. She really stands up when someone that she cares for is in danger. And she just has this instant likability to her. You know, when the entire world is just filled with this chaos and everything is just bad and awful, she just brings a certain level of levity to it. She'll make jokes. She'll talk about things of the past. She'll ask questions. And there's just so much humanity in this one character. And every time that she says anything, she just really lightens the mood of the game. For a game that's so serious and has so much emotional weight to it, Ellie is the character that is the light in the darkness. She brings this entire game to life. And to see her impact on Joel, you instantly see why those two gravitate towards each other. I'll go into my spoiler review, but there's a few moments in the game, and just during these specific moments, I just went from loving Ellie to loving Ellie even more to all-time favorite character. And once again, Ashley Johnson does do an amazing job voicing her. But there's also Joel, who has gone through some tough stuff, and he's just tough, beaten down old man. And Troy Baker. You know, if you've watched the behind the scenes of this game, then you know that they had all these guys do an audition for Joel, and then Troy Baker comes in with frosted tips, and he's a much younger guy than everyone else, but he just nailed this character. You see Joel, then you look at Troy Baker, you're shocked that he voices him. It's just, they do not match up whatsoever. But he does do an incredible job voicing him. It really can't be stated enough. Phenomenal voice work. And Joe's just this so well-realized character. You understand why he is the way that he is. And to see him gain more life, to actually have a reason to fight back throughout the duration of this game, it just has such an emotional impact. And the relationship between the two of them cannot be stated well enough. I know I just said that, but you really buy every single beat because you follow it the entire time. You see them start working together, you see them start to care for each other, and just seeing that relationship develop, it just is one of the best written relationships I've ever seen in a game, in a story, in anything ever. Just everything that these two characters go through together and how much closer they get because of it, it all feels genuine. It feels authentic, it feels real, and that's what's great about these two characters. And plus the complete polar opposites, and to see them complement each other, oh my goodness, it warms my heart. It really does. There's also a character who's not in the game a lot, but his name is David. And David is such a fantastic villain. You start off really liking him, but then you start to realize that he's actually an evil, sinister person, and my goodness, is he ever. And Nolan North, the guy who voices Nathan Drake, voicing this evil cannibal, oh my goodness, he really gets under your skin. He's just this menacing guy. There's two characters named Sam and Henry, and they have lots of similarities to Joe and Ellie, and I thought they were really well-realized characters with a tragic story between the two of them, and the role they play within this story is really well handled. I thought they were fantastic characters. You also get Tess, who is another fantastic character. She's tough, she stands her ground, she's a badass, and I love her for the time that she's in this game. There's also Marlene, who's not in the game a ton, but I still think there's a lot of depth to her character and the tough decisions that she ends up making. I think she's a really great character. There's also a character named Bill who isn't in the game a ton, but boy, is he memorable. He just has this huge personality that just shines in this game, and I loved how much he hated Ellie and how much she hated him. I thought that stuff was hilarious, but there's also this tragic backstory to him that really does have quite the impact. Yeah, I love him as a character. There's also Tommy, who's a fantastic character, voiced so perfectly by Jeffrey Pierce. And there's also Maria, who I loved as a character. Just every single character in this game, no matter how much they're in the game or how little they're in the game, they have an impact. I remember all their names. They're all really well defined, well written characters that just have personalities that allow them to stand out. The character writing is top notch. The story is also fantastic. It's character driven. It allows the characters and their relationships to progress in a natural way, and it's the characters that push the story forward. And just every single plot point, every single character beat, you buy. This is a game that takes its time and it owns every single beat it tries to own. And that's how you know it's effective storytelling. Even when the game isn't in story mode and there's these cutscenes, when you're just walking around looking for stuff, just these small discussions, these small moments between Joe and Ellie, it adds so much to this world. It's part of what makes this game so special. When you're looking for just supplies in this one room and Ellie's trying to whistle, or you guys just have a small discussion as you're walking down the street, every single moment, no matter how small it may seem, is absolutely vital. It adds so much to this world, to what this world used to be, to these characters, to their relationships, to the story. It adds so much. So just every single moment feels essential. Every single second is important. And it just allows you to want to explore every element, every angle of this game. No matter how many times I play this game, I go into every building, I go into every spot so I can get every piece of dialogue, so I can just get as much from this game as possible. There's even this story where you enter the sewers and it's about this guy named Ish. And you never see Ish. You only know his story through picking up notes. But just his story is so phenomenal. Like, it is a compelling, emotional story. It really is. And you just read it throughout the game. And it just defines this world and just the tragic nature of it so perfectly. And you don't get that if you don't look around. And so you get rewarded for looking around. You get rewarded for spending extra time in this game. And because of it, this game just comes to life even more so. I also want to say that I absolutely love that when you're fighting people, you're playing as Joel, and then there's actually moments where Ellie comes and helps you. Like, I'll get attacked by a dude, and then Ellie comes in and stabs him in the back, and you're just like, that's awesome. Like, she's not just standing there. Like, it just feels that, you guys are a team. You're helping each other. I really love that. And, this goes with the story, but this game is emotional. From the very opening, this game hits you with an emotional impact. And this game has so many moments filled with emotions throughout. There's so much tragedy wrapped around this world, and you really do feel the impact of it. Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to begin with the emotion, but it's there, it grabs you, it keeps you engaged throughout, and those just moments that just hit you and hit you hard. This is not just a feel-good game. It is dark, it is depressing, it goes to some terrible places, and I love it all the more for that. The way it pushes these characters forward, by the end, you can just tell that they're changed people. That these are people who are damaged, who have gone through some stuff in the duration of this game. And it hits you so freaking hard. So great. That's not to say it's all dark and depressing. There's definitely some lighter, funny moments too. Like, there's one scene where you're driving in a vehicle with Ellie and she finds some magazines in the back, and it's just a really funny cutscene. And they're all moments, like I said, where Ellie brings a lot of levity to the story. And I just love that. So as emotional as I was, as much as I was crying throughout this entire game, there was moments where I was also laughing and just enjoying my time with these characters, much like they would. It's just like whenever something bad happens, the characters are emotionally affected by it, as you are. And whenever a joke is made, you'll laugh like the characters laugh. So you just always feel like you're on the same page as the characters, and that's just some expert writing, and I absolutely love the ending of this game. I think it is satisfying in every single possible way. I think it is the perfect ending to this story. And I love it so much. It's such a great ending. I also love the way that this game explores its ideas. The ideas of finding hope in a hopeless world. And the importance of human connection, about finding a reason to keep living, to keep fighting. And just when how all order is lost, about how people will do despicable things. And like there's just, it really highlights the fact that humans can be such evil, vile creatures, and this, every single idea has so much weight and depth to it. This is a world that's destroyed, it's gone, there's no hope left, everyone's an evil, vicious person, they're all trying to kill each other, and you're just left to fight in it, to fight to survive, and how you need something to fight for. And I just think the way that the story explores that, especially in regards to the characters, just adds so much to this story. Like, it's so good. And not just the story and characters, the actual design of this game is top notch. Like the graphics, all these years later, still look phenomenal. Like Last of Us 2 is the best looking game ever, but I still play this first one and I'm still impressed. The way the water looks, the way that the environment looks, the characters and the emotions. Like, there are moments where the characters will be arguing or talking about something and you just feel it. Like they look like real people. The graphics in this game are unlike anything else. Like, they are just top notch. And the gameplay, I hear people complain about the gameplay, which is just odd because I think this is like the perfect kind of gameplay. Like this kind of gameplay is my kind of gameplay. These are the games that I find to be fun. You know, you have to go between stealth and attacking people straight on. I've played this game so many times and you can approach each level in a different, unique way. You can go up and sneak up behind people and kill them and then kill all their friends in non-stealth ways. You can find a way to do it stealth all the way. You can just approach them head on and kill them all. It's just a lot of fun. And man, when you shoot people, like, it can get pretty brutal in moments. I guess not as brutal as the second game does, but still, this game definitely has its brutal moments within the gameplay. And the weapon selection is fantastic. I love the bow and arrow. You know, you go from the second game where the bow and arrow is definitely better back to this game, and it's totally different, but once you get the hang of it again, it's still a lot of fun. I love the shotgun, I love the different weapons you can craft, the Molotov cocktails, the nail bomb, just all that stuff is really great. I never really used the smoke bomb, if I'm being honest though. Like, every time I play this game, like, I always fill the ammo, the supplies as much as I can, and I very rarely use the smoke bomb. It's not until the last section do I ever end up using it. So that's the one section, like, I guess it'd be good. Maybe I should use it more often. But the Molotov cocktails and everything else I love using. And I just think when you're going to a room filled with baddies, you know, just fighting them, I just think it's so much fun. Like, I've played this game so many times and I never get tired of playing sections. The last hospital section, there was a section in a hotel where you're going through all these different rooms. It's just all so much fun, you know. You can fight people, but then you get an axe and it makes the melee all the more fun. It's just the best kind of gameplay. And even just, you know, the puzzles, if you want to call them that, going through each environment, it makes it so the game's constantly engaging. Like, it's not the most difficult puzzles. You can figure it out, but at the same time, you're still left to do enough to the point where you don't get bored, where you're all having fun with it. And I really love that aspect of the game as well. One thing I love about the stealth section is that if you're trying to sneak up on someone and like you accidentally knock over a basket, they'll hear it and they'll find you. I just think that's a really cool design. I just love doing stealth in this game. There's like a bookstore section and I did stealth for the first time the other day, that entire section, and I just felt so good about myself. Like, I was just like, I can't believe I did that. Anyways, I also love the clickers. Did you know that the zombies in this game are based on a real life thing? It's true. It only affects ants, so I guess it's a zombie ant virus, but it's a real thing. Like, that is so cool. But I love the clickers and the bloaters. Like, just the virus itself is just the coolest zombie design ever. Like, it starts off infecting people and the typical zombies running around using their mind, but over time they grow more and more moldy and the heads start to turn into this weird fungus mixture to the point where they can't see and they gotta collect to see. And it's just so creepy and intense. Like, there's a few sections where you go into a basement filled with clickers, and all these years later, I'm still on the edge of my seat. Like, oh my goodness, this is so freaking hard. Like, it is intense. And when there's a big bloater dude who gets even bigger, oh my goodness. I also love how, like, when there's dead clickers, how they can merge with the walls and how they can infect spores that people can't breathe in. I just think there's so much attention in these small things. And yes, this game isn't just a fun action game, it is a terrifying horror game in moments. Like I said, when you're in the basement of some section and you're surrounded by clickers and there's all these runners running around, oh, I get goosebumps and it is thrilling. Like, it is some really scary stuff, and I always have a lot of fun playing it. Which I should also mention the sound design. Like, the sound design is so great. Like, when you're just going around it and you're trying to listen to see if there's any clickers nearby, the sound design is just impeccable. It's phenomenal. And I also want to say that the atmosphere and the tone of this game is really well handled. It's just got that post-apocalypse kind of Western feel to it, and I just love it. Like, there's some moments that just feel climatic in the best way. Like, you get ambushed, you're listening to a song on the radio, and you crash into a place, and there's a cutscene where you have to fight some guys, and then that cutscene turns into gameplay, but the song is still playing in the truck. So it just gives the game an extra climatic feel. It feels bigger, and just the use of music and everything throughout, it just all adds to the tone and atmosphere. And the music by, I'm going to totally mispronounce his name, Gustavo Santaolalla, is so damn perfect. I love the score to these games, especially the second game, but the first game has an amazing score too. It just gives this game its own identity. Like, it just adds so much to this game that whenever you hear it, you feel like you're transported to this post-apocalypse world. And it just brings you back to spending time with these characters, and it's used effectively when needed. In emotional moments, it's well used, well handled. It's just some of the best music you'll ever hear in a video game. Like, I listen to it all the time. It is such a great freaking score. Love it. I also just love spending time in this post-apocalypse world. Like, not just visually and tone-wise, but like, there's just so much attention to detail. Like, whenever you open a door, sometimes you have to push against it because, like, there's something blocking the door, and you keep pushing and you keep pushing, and then you get through, and then you close it. And then you realize that someone else was running through that room and they wanted to block it, so they put that there too. So like, whenever you leave a room, you leave it in the same state that you enter some rooms, if that makes sense. It's just a small little touch that I really love. Just everything about this game works for me on every single level. The story is top notch. It breaks into 4 different sections of summer, fall, winter, and spring, and just the way it's structured and how sometimes certain seasons end and you don't see what happens next. You just see the impact of what just happened has on the characters. It's so smartly written like that. And the entire winter section, it blows my mind that whenever I play it, it's only like 2 hours long, but the entire time I'm invested, I'm on the edge of my seat, and I love that entire section so much. It is some of the best storytelling ever in any medium. And just every single moment feels essential. It feels essential to the story, to the characters. I love Joe and Ellie so much. I just think the badasses who take no shit from no one, and just the relationship as it progresses, you really do start to care for these characters, and it tests how much you care for them constantly throughout. And my goodness, it just packs so many emotional punches. Not just at the beginning and at the end, but so many moments throughout. This game is consistently emotional, but it still has lighter, funny moments. Every single side character is memorable in their own way too. The world on display feels so rich and fully brought to life, and the zombies are terrifying. The gameplay is so much fun. The graphics and the attention to detail are great. The small little stories, whether it be Ish or the guy who has to kill his girlfriend at university because he thinks that she turned. Just all those stories that if you open the right drawer that you can see, add to the richness of this world. It is an incredible story with not with some of the best, but with the best characters ever. I cannot say enough. I love Joel and Ellie. Everyone who's played this game loves Joel and Ellie, and there's a good reason why. Oh my goodness. The writing, the directing, the visuals, just the music, everything on display is absolutely phenomenal. It is blows my mind every time I play this game just how great it is. And every time I play this game now after playing the second one, it feels like there's an extra layer of tragedy to it. And it actually enhances this fourth game even more so. Just some of the best storytelling, best character writing, best graphics, best gameplay ever. I have so much fun playing this game while keeping me emotionally invested in what's going on. I'm pretty much just repeating myself at this point, but I just really love this game. I really do. Last of Us 2 is my favorite story ever in any medium. This one's behind it. I love this game so much. I know they're remaking it, and I just hope that they don't change too much because I think it's perfect just the way it is. This game is truly something special. If for some reason you haven't played it now, then definitely go play it. Yeah, it's something really special. So anyways, if you haven't guessed, I'm going to go ahead and give this game a 10 out of 10. Okay, so I did a spoiler-free review just then, and I'm going to do a spoiler-filled review coming out next week, so make sure that you watch that too. And have you played Last of Us? If you haven't, go buy PS4, get Last of Us Remastered ASAP. I promise you, you will not regret it. But if you have played it, then let me know in the comments down below what you think of it. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.